I think at this point it is without question, in my mind, that King Power need to leave and sell up. They need to sell. The future of Leicester City Football Club, in my opinion, depends on that. Now, I will say it is only fair to explain this, that there are many different people who contribute to this YouTube channel. These are my opinions. I know that some agree with me. I know that some disagree. But this is my opinion. And my opinion is that, as I just said, King Power need to leave. They need to sell and get out. Now, I think it is also only fair to Vishai himself to say on record that myself and pretty much every single Leicester fan on the planet will never forget the incredible years that we had under him. We will never be able to thank him, unfortunately, again, for what he gave this football club, what he built at this football club, and the success and memories that we had off the back of it. But I think it is vital that fans separate the Vishai era from the top era. And I could not feel so strongly about that. Now, I also would like to say that, of course, as we all know, the FA Cup win and a couple of the European runs came after Vishai's death. But in my opinion, just like in pretty much every situation in life, in the world, there is always a hangover period of bad things or success. And I believe that those couple of years after Vishai's death, there was a hangover period of the success and the culture that he had built at the club, alongside some very good managers as well. The facts are the facts. Ayuat top and his cronies, whatever the word is, John Rudkin, Susan Whelan to some degree, Anthony Herreley, the communications director, and many, many more, they have overseen the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest fall from grace in English football history, possibly European football history. This is the greatest fall from grace. Just like we had the greatest rise and the greatest underdog story, they have overseen the greatest fall from grace. And that is inexcusable. Inexcusable. This isn't just a shock relegation which we received. This isn't just PSR problems. This is continuous failure, continuous incompetence of a running of a football club. And the outside world is finally seeing it for what it is. We were accused of being entitled. We were accused of being ungrateful. But finally, the world is waking up. The footballing world is waking up, and they are seeing this crisis at Leicester City for what it is. Pure and utter mismanagement. This club is going to be relegated to League One this season, in my own view, in my opinion. I struggle to see how we don't. I really can't even think of a scenario where we stay up. The squad, many members of the squad are cowards. Many members of the squad don't have the guts, the fight, the determination. They don't have the loyalty to the club. They don't have that close connection like previous squads have had with the fan base, with the city, with their own teammates. And this squad ultimately has been built by the people above them, the managers and the people that put the managers in post, the ownership and the board members. We've had a recent round of interviews from our owner, Top, where, quite frankly, I'm sure he came away, and the communications director, Anthony Herreley, I'm sure they both came away thinking, good job, Top. When in reality, because that would show the out of touch. That would show how out of touch they really are. In reality, the fans watched on, I want to say in horror, but with laughter. Because in those interviews, the pure delusion, I don't know what to call it. I don't even know what word to use here. Idiocy? Is that a word? You know what I'm trying to say. It was because in those round of interviews, it was clear as day. It was there in the open for many of us, all of us, to see the pure delusion that goes on in the heads of some of the people running our football club, specifically as well in this case, the owner Top. You know, we were told there was an internal review after the first relegation. We didn't get a peep. There was nothing. There was nothing. And there wasn't even any changes. If you were serious, if you knew what you were doing, if Vishai was here, he would have made changes at that point. He would have recognised, because he was a proper businessman, he would have recognised that was a complete car crash, failure of a season. What went wrong? Let's fix it. These lot, they didn't think there was anything to be fixed. So when we come down and they find a gem of a manager in Enzo Maresca and get promoted again and the same thing happens, they're surprised again, maybe? I don't know. We'll never know what went through their heads. Maybe they knew it was going to happen. But they were able to prevent it. It was preventable because they'd gone through it before. But this time, this could be the third relegation in 3 years. This right now is the third relegation in 3 years that is about to take place, in my opinion. If this board, if this club was taken over by another owner following Vishai's death, not one single fan would be happy. Not one single fan would accept or would look past the failure because of previous success. I'm very vocal on this. There is nothing I hate more in football than credit in the bank. Credit in the bank is what kept Brendan Rodgers in a job for so long 3 years ago that ultimately led to us going down. Credit in the bank is why Andy King's been given not 1, not 2, not 3, potentially coming up to 4 games in charge of the football club. He's not a manager yet. He could be in the future. But it's because he's a club legend. The club have just been... They've not been urgent. There's no urgency about the next managerial appointment. And the credit in the bank for an ownership group for past success, that is what will kill Leicester City Football Club. When we get relegated to League One, there is serious concern the club could go bust. It could go bankrupt. There is a bankruptcy on the horizon. And that's not just my opinion. That's the opinion of a man who, Charlie Methven, who actually went into Sunderland after back-to-back relegations to try and sort them out and save them. And to a degree, he has his flaws, but to a degree, he did a good job at saving them. They didn't go bankrupt. That's his opinion, that Leicester City are on the verge of bankruptcy if they go down, which I believe they will go down. And he had some choice words for our owner top, and I'm going to play them here.
Looks in this case.
We're not suggesting for a moment, Charlie, are we? I hope that the people who run Leicester City, or the son of Vichai, is in any sense an idiot.
No, we are suggesting that. I'm suggesting that. I am suggesting that Top, who is Vichai's son, is an idiot.
Yeah, that's right. This is a serious businessman who's been in, gone into a club on the brink of bankruptcy and saved them, and he thinks our owner is an idiot. It's all right, fans calling him an idiot out of heat of the moment, emotion. This is somebody who's got no ties to Leicester City, who is just an expert in his field, and him looking inside from the outside is calling our owner an idiot and saying that we could be on the verge of bankruptcy very soon. Some people will say that Top deserves a chance to turn this around, and my question would be, he's had it. My answer would be, he's had it. He came out for the first interview in November, promising change, promising a better future, promising more communication. He's been to 2 games since then. He's promised a technical director, which 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, was apparently pretty much done. Still no sign of him. No sign of a new manager, no sign of a new CEO, no sign of a commercial director, and no sign of a departure for John Rudkin, the director of football, who sits there in his chair in the stadium every single game at home with a smug look on his face, because I'm sure inside he must think, look at you, calling for my head every day, and I'm still here. It's embarrassing. This guy, along with Top, along with others, have overseen the biggest fall from grace in history in English football, in my opinion. And nobody has lost their job other than Susan Whelan, who, from the outside looking in as a fan, seemed like the best of the bad eggs In fact, I think sometimes it's quite harsh to call Susan Whelan a bad egg. But it's okay. It's okay, because remember, as Top said in his interviews, if we don't go up this season, which we're not now, as we all know, we'll go up next season. Well, if he meant up from League One, maybe so. But personally, with him in charge, I don't think we will get promoted from League One. I think we are closer to League Two than the Premier League right now. And I don't think it would take us long. With the dramatic fall from grace, with the nosedive that we've been under, I think we could be in League Two within 18 months. And I think that's a real possibility. And some people will call it sensational, emotional reaction. I'll just ask you one thing, and you can let me know in the comments. What have you seen from this club? What have you seen from this board, the ownership, the owner, to suggest that what I'm saying isn't true? Because if you have some ideas on why I'm wrong, why I'm so wrong, leave them down below. And I welcome anybody on the channel who disagrees with me to make their own video and explain why the King Power are still fit for purpose. I think we'll struggle to find somebody to do a video like that. But anyway, let me know down below.